Welcome back. Joining us now in the studio is Texas U.S. Congressman Colin Allred. He's running against Senator Ted Cruz for the U.S. Senate seat. Congressman, thank you for joining us. Also a Baylor linebacker, former Baylor linebacker. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be home.
So we wanted to start from the top here. So why do you want to run against the incumbent Senator Cruz?
Sure. Well, I'm a fourth generation Texan. I was born and raised in Dallas by a single mom who was a public school teacher. It was a big deal for us when I got a scholarship to play football at Baylor and made it to the NFL and became a civil rights lawyer. And I've served in Congress in a way that I think shows you can bring folks together around our shared values. I've been named the most bipartisan member of Congress from our Texas delegation, whereas I think Ted Cruz has been the exact opposite. I think he's somebody who's been an extremist, who's been pitting us against each other for 12 years, and I think Texans have had enough of it.
All right, Congressman, you have said that Senator Cruz is a threat to IVF. He's got a bill out that claims to protect IVF. What will you be voting for this? Do you not like this bill, and how do you correlate the two?
Well, my wife and I have been blessed with 2 baby boys in Dallas in the last 5 years, and luckily we had routine pregnancies. And listen, we are here because folks like Ted Cruz have attacked families like ours who are trying to welcome a family, have put IVF at risk. This was not something that needed to be protected until folks like Ted Cruz got their way and placed us in this position. And what I see happening across our state is an abortion ban that has gone way too far, and I think is having so many negative consequences for families across our state, including folks who are now worried that IVF could be at risk. When I'm in the Senate, I'll make sure we go back to the standard that we've had for the last 50 years by codifying Roe v. Wade.
Well, I know you said that it is your role to want to keep women to have their right to choose. And can you tell us a little bit more about that and why that's important to you?
Yeah, well, listen, I think that everyone should be able to make their own decisions about this. And listen, my wife and I, as I said, I was raised by a single mom, so I went to every single ultrasound appointment, every single genetic test. Those rooms are too small to have a politician in there too making some of these really critical decisions. When you see a mother of 2 like Kate Cox in Dallas, who has a much wanted 3rd pregnancy, who gets the news that we all hope we don't get, that the pregnancy is not viable. She has to go to the emergency room 4 times, and her doctor says she needs to get a medically necessary abortion, and she can't get it here at home in Texas. She has to flee our state. To me, that's something that's gone too far.
I want to go back to something you said. You said that Ted Cruz's extreme stance on abortion has got us here to the IVF debate. Are you saying it's not possible to be pro-life and also in favor of IVF?
No, what I'm saying is that they put it at risk, and we've seen that in Alabama. And we now are seeing this across the country, folks who are worried that extremists like Ted Cruz, who has expressed in the past that he wants to pass a personhood a law saying basically that IVF would be illegal, that they put this at risk. And it's because of his extreme policies that we're even having this conversation, whereas a couple years ago, we wouldn't have had to worry that IVF could be at risk.
Do you think this bill doesn't go far enough, or?
Well, listen, I think that Senator Cruz has had plenty of opportunities to address IVF, and this is just, I think, kind of an effort to cover up his record of putting this at risk in the first place.
We don't have much longer, but I want to get your stance on the border. What's going on at the border?
Yeah. Well, my family's from Brownsville. My grandfather was a customs officer in Brownsville. I spent a lot of my childhood there. And so I know that when we have these surges of migrants and these crises that we have been experiencing, that it's our border communities who bear the brunt. And so I want to make sure that we secure our border, but that we do it in a way that's consistent with our values. And we have a bill in the Congress that we could have used to address that folks like Ted Cruz opposed, I think, because they want to have the issue to run on in November as opposed to actually having to solve the issue. And to me, that has to be unacceptable to all of us as Texans.
And you do want to make sure there are more Border Patrol agents added, is that correct?
Yeah, and this bill would add hundreds of Border Patrol agents, immigration judges, administrative personnel, and have billions of dollars for border security, and would help us address what I see as the biggest issue that's going on at the border, which is our asylum process that's broken and being abused. And so it's a common sense approach. It's one thing that we have to do of what I think has to be a comprehensive approach to our immigration system. But when we don't act, it's our border communities and our state here in Texas that bears the brunt of it. This is a federal responsibility. We need the federal government to respond. Folks like Ted Cruz have gotten in the way. When I'm in the Senate, I'll make sure that we get this done.
All right, Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, Congressman.
Yeah, thank you.